Peel Healthy Lifestyle Show, where we focus on health, fitness, and technology, and we want to showcase individuals and businesses that are in the region of Peel and are really focused on health prevention, making sure people are healthy, disease prevention, actually, as I should say. And we're focused on health, fitness, and technology. And today in the studio, we're joined with Dr. Gayatri, Kalia.
Namaskar. Yeah,
Thank you for coming in the studio. Dr. Gayatri, maybe you can just, before we start, give a quick introduction. I know today we're going to be talking about Ayurveda, and I'll let Dr. Gayatri explain what Ayurveda is.
Okay, so myself, Dr. Gayatri Kalia.
Right.
I am MD and Ph.D. in Ayurveda with almost 18 years of experience of teaching as well as seeing patients.
Okay.
So presently I'm having my clinic here in Malton area with the name of Gaytri Ayurveda Natural Wellness Center at the Westwood Mall.
Okay.
So your question is about Ayurveda,
right?
And that's my main subject.
Okay.
And Ayurveda, as most of us know, is one of the oldest and most holistic science of health among all the medical systems present right now.
Right.
And it actually takes into consideration the individual constitution before handling and going further into the consideration of treatment.
Okay.
So that's its unique quality. And it works on the principles of 5 elements, 3 doshas. It doesn't only treat the patient with just few medicines. It actually is the holistic science which takes into consideration the individual constitution. Thereafter, the administration of the diet, which is usually customized.
Okay.
And the herbs, which are meant for the person. So for you, the choice of herbs might be different than for me. Right, and then comes the treatment modalities, which include the panchakarma, which are the detox therapies as well. A lot of counseling for the mental issues.
Right.
So it covers all the aspects, whether it's physical health, emotional health, mental health, or spiritual health.
Okay, perfect. So I know you've kind of touched on some of the basic principles with Ayurveda. Maybe you can talk about really briefly with some of the viewers who may not be familiar with Ayurveda. What are we talking about when we're talking about like the actual basic principles? And maybe we can just break it down.
Yeah. So Ayurveda believes life to be part of the nature.
Okay.
First of all, it says that you are 5 elemental. Me, you, everything in this world, whether it's the table or the mic or the camera, everything is 5 elemental, even our food is. The only difference between the non-living and the living things is that we have the mind and the soul, which is part of the God or the consciousness. So we know how to react and we decide our things, our own. And plus, because everything is 5 elemental, including the food that we consume and the emotions also, which come from the environment. So the people with whom you are interacting, they are also 5 elemental. Since we are 5 elemental, the balance of it is actually necessary to keep you healthy. If there is an imbalance, for example, there is an imbalance in the outer environment. We know there are 3 major energies governing the environment. One is air, the other is sun, and the water. So if they are angry, so the air, when it gets angry, it brings cyclones. Similarly, in the body as well, we have the air, water, and the sun energies. They govern our digestion, our physiology, our psychology, everything. If they are in balance, you are healthy, you are happy, you are contented, and you are in a good mood. And when they are out of balance, so they show their own symptoms. They come up with their own collection of features, which a Vaidya can recognize and then treat according to the balancing of the doshas itself. You don't need to name the disease and go into very in-depth, critical diagnostic terminologies and all. We have our own set of criteria of diagnosis, and we reach to the conclusion and we advise customized diet and a lifestyle regimen and the exercise and everything. Try to heal the person with minimum usage of medicines. Because we believe that the healing is possible within oneself. So self-healing is very much focused upon, because if the right environment is provided, if the right diet is provided, if the right attitude is there, most of the problems are solved by themselves.
So it sounds like there's a big difference with Ayurveda and Western medicine the treatment protocols.
Yes.
Whereas with Western medicine, I may show up at my doctor's, I may have high blood pressure, and then it's time for some blood pressure medication.
Yeah.
What it sounds like with Ayurveda is that it's a holistic approach,
Yes.
and that the blood pressure is just a symptom of something else, or underlying issue.
Yes.
And so
yes.
once we address that issue, then the blood pressure, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
will start to resolve
Will
itself,
come
because the
back.
body will heal itself.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, what's the concept of the mind, mental health, according to Ayurveda?
Well, that's a beautiful question, very close to me. Well, mind, according to Ayurveda, is defined as mind is supposed to be, you can understand in a easy language, as secretary to soul,
Okay.
private
Okay.
secretary to soul.
Right.
So, as I told you, the life has 4 dimensions. So, the 4 dimensions include your physical body,
Okay.
which you see as a collection of organs and outer
Right.
appearance.
Okay.
Then comes the senses,
Right.
which have a greater authority of sensing various emotions and
Okay.
touch and temperature
Right.
and taste and everything. We know about that. Then comes the mind,
Okay.
which is more intelligent, further,
Right.
and more sharp.
Right.
And then on top of all is the soul.
Okay.
That's what Ayurveda believes.
Right.
And the soul comes from the consciousness or the Almighty or the God, whatever you may call.
Right.
So we all have that part called Jivatma in us, and
Okay.
which is always guiding us the right path. We just need to listen to it that
Okay.
yes, this is the right thing for me.
Right.
So mind is the bridge
Okay.
between the body senses and the soul. So
Okay.
if the mind is doing its work well
Right.
and listening to the soul all the ways and
Okay.
guiding the correct directions, so it's the director for the body and the senses
Right.
as well,
Right. Right. Okay.
then the body is going to listen to the mind. And if the reverse happens, that means the body starts guiding the mind,
Right.
that I want this, I want that, this is the dress which I should have, or
Right.
whatever, you
Okay.
know, and this is the food I'm craving for, and then the disbalance or the harmony is lost.
Is lost, right? So it sounds like it's for someone who may have been born and raised in the Western side, maybe Canada, U.S., maybe even Europe, where they're used to that Western medicine paradigm. When I guess maybe when these patients, when they visit you, and these individuals visit you, it must be a total mental shift that they have to do, because now with the Western medicine, it's kind of like here's the doctor, and the doctor's making decisions for me, versus where
Yeah.
now when I come to an Ayurvedic practitioner, now I have to think about my own health,
Yeah.
and I have to basically, we're talking about empowerment, and that's really what we're kind of getting
it
towards.
starts from education, the client or the patient actually. It might be sounding a bit new thing for them in the beginning,
Right.
but eventually they love it because
Okay.
it empowers them, it educates them,
Right.
they know the right choices for them.
Okay.
So it's a lot of time we invest on the patient when
Right.
he comes for the first time.
Okay.
Taking into record his history, and it's with all the Ayurveda practitioners the same
Okay.
way. The Prakriti analysis, which is the constitution,
Right.
like you are different, I might be different from you, as I
Right.
said in the beginning.
Right.
So knowing one's constitution and then reaching what's going wrong with the person and how
Okay.
can it be corrected.
Right.
But you will agree to it that the Western mindset or Eastern mindset is nothing.
Right.
It's the natural mindset is actually to accept and to be open to what is right in the world.
Okay. The natural mindset. Right.
Yeah, and we should be accepting all that. And,
Right, exactly.
Coming more to the nature, more close to nature, less artificial, less into the show system, less
Right.
using chemicals. Everybody likes the idea nowadays.
Right. Yes, I think so. It's especially when once an individual. It's actually quite a shame that most people will approach health when they're losing it or something's
Yeah.
happened tragically. But eventually, once they start to look at living a more holistic life, a more healthier lifestyle, I think that's when it's really about the empowerment, about your actual ability to learn
Yes.
and assimilate that knowledge.
Yes, and
kind
know
of-
the power of self-healing.
Right, exactly.
Self-healing is something which you all have. The cats, the dogs, everybody has.
Right.
And why not humans should
Right.
use it, right?
Exactly. And that's I think a great segue into the next question, which I was thinking is, does diet play a role?
Oh yes, a very,
with-
very important role.
Okay.
As I told, the mind as one of the tools of directing the body and the senses.
Okay.
So if mind knows what is good or what is bad for me, and the right judgment is taken by mind,
Right.
then the person selects the right things for him or herself.
Okay.
So coming to the mental constitution, before we reach to what are the psychiatric issues we are dealing with through Ayurveda, we are dealing with all kinds of issues, right? From insomnia, anxiety, schizophrenia, OCD, depression, all of them. You name them, and Ayurveda has the solution for them.
Okay. Right.
Well, it starts from, of course, not only the usage of the herbs, as I said, it's a lot of counseling.
Okay.
Sattva Avajaya Chikitsa, we call it. And Yukti Vaparashya, that means using other tools other than just the herbs.
Okay.
And the diet as well.
Right. Right.
So they talk about sattvic diet, which the yogis also keep talking about.
Okay. Yep.
So that's what is to be incorporated. So it's like we have the three qualities of mind,
Okay.
which are sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva is for the real knowledge and the innocence and love and purity of thought and knowledge.
Right.
And that's what you are born with.
Okay.
Everybody's mind is full of sattva when he's born.
Okay.
So we are born to spread love and share love and care for each other.
Okay.
Then comes rajas, which is for ego and jealousy and pride and self-achievement and things like that.
Right.
And then the last comes tamas, which is for just very selfish attitude,
Okay. Right.
So these are the qualities. To some extent, actually, all of these are there in everybody's psyche, in the mind.
Right.
But our effort should be to increase or uplift the sattva in a person.
Okay.
So how it can be done, it starts from the right environment to be provided to the person.
Right.
So eating sattvic, meeting sattvic, thinking sattvic, and living sattvic, that's my principle, how I treat the person.
Okay. Right.
So eating sattvic means the diet to be more vegetarian, not coming from animal sources.
Okay.
Because when an animal is cut, he or she, is full of either anger or fear.
Right.
So the emotions actually also get transferred to you when you eat something.
Definitely.
The right kind of cooking is also very important. So with the mindful eating, that's also educated, right? After that, it also includes some sattvic foods like the whole A2 cow milk.
Okay.
A lot of keys to be included in the diet from the A2 cow milk.
Okay.
Then almonds are very good for the mind to be nourished.
Okay.
Then raisins and figs and fruits and whole grains.
Right.
These are the things which we advise the patient to have.
Right.
But sometimes in case of depression, when a lot of tamas is there, where the patient is blocked by emotions and is very sad and just clinging to his bed and not ready to go out, this kind of diet could be there, but we need to stimulate him.
Okay.
So we need to energize him with something stimulating. So in that case, we advise a little bit of rajasic diet too.
Okay.
And the rajasic diet includes stimulating foods and beverages, like a bit of coffee or tea as well, and some spicy and good-looking, attractive food too.
Foods, right.
So it's all the intelligence with which we decide what is the disorder, which dosha is dominant, and the complementary dosha diet is advised.
Okay.
That's about the diet.
Perfect. And I think this kind of leads into some of the questions that I was thinking about is, how do you classify, manage different psychiatric issues in Ayurveda?
Okay. So to tell that, I would give you an example.
Okay.
Before we reach to major classification. Suppose you lose your car keys.
Okay.
Right? And there can be 3 different kinds of persons who have 3 different reactions to it.
Right.
One of them, which is very usual, would be somebody creating a panic and, looking into all the drawers and putting up the mattress here and there and yelling at the family members, where did I keep it? And, no?
Right.
That's one reaction.
Okay.
So the other reaction would be, oh my God, all bad things happen to me only. Now I have lost the car keys. The next would be the house keys. I am the only sufferer in this world. That kind of, not even looking up to any shelf that it might be there in the next corner of the coffee table.
Okay.
And the third reaction would be, thinking with a calm and quiet and a stable mindset.
Okay.
That, okay, I came back at this time and I had moved to this area. So the memory comes into play when
Right.
your mind is stable.
Right.
We all know that.
Right.
And then he eventually reaches to the right spot where the keys are. My idea of giving you this example is the first reaction, which was the panic reaction, is full of rajas.
Okay.
So
okay,
such people are more prone to anxiety,
Okay.
panic attacks.
Right.
They are more prone to, full of rajas and instability
Okay.
and some irritability in their mindset.
Right.
People who were the second type, who were just sitting dull and doing nothing about it,
Right,
they are more
right.
prone to depression, obviously,
Okay.
because they don't want to do anything about
Right.
it. And so they easily go into depression
Okay.
or OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder,
Right. Right.
in which the blockage is there at only one thought and they just can't go over that
Go over
thought
that
process.
part. Okay.
And the third one, and the best ones with the more sattvic component of their mind,
Right.
they are mentally healthy. They don't suffer from any illness.
So it sounds like, as you're explaining this, it sounds like the mental thought process is actually a good indicator of where someone
Yes.
might be.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Very true. After an assessment, we come to know how the mindset of the person is
Right.
and to what extent he or she is prone to any
Right.
psychiatric issues or not.
Okay.
So we have the physical doshas as well
Right.
as sun, fire, and water energies.
Okay.
We call them vata, pitta, kapha energies.
Right.
So people who have more vata in them, so they have more air dominance. So naturally, air causes turbulence and movement of thoughts all the time. So they're
Okay.
all the time thinking. Very innovative, very creative, but very difficult to stabilize them or make them concentrate on some topic.
Right. Okay.
So the Pitta people are more energetic, fire, and very focused and critical in their analysis. So very good judge.
Right.
And
Right, okay.
so they are very critical and argumentative. So they have issues with anger.
Okay.
And the third ones, like the Kapha people, very loving and passionate.
Right.
But a bit more possessive as well.
Okay.
So they suffer when the loved ones lose them or they go away
Okay.
from them. So
Right.
they suffer from depression because they are emotionally dependent.
Okay.
So we tell them, this is what your body type is.
Right.
This is your mental constitution. You have this negative aspect.
Right. Okay.
And you need to learn it this way. So this is how we
Perfect.
teach them. And
Okay. So one of the next questions that what's coming to mind now, I know you mentioned herbs a couple of times and
Yes.
panchakarma. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. When you say herbs, what do you mean? So our viewers can understand.
yeah, fortunately, the Vedas have so many herbs to heal us.
Right.
And they are all coming from nature.
Okay.
We have a set of herbs which are called Medhya Rasayanas.
Okay.
Medhya means intellect promoting herbs.
Okay.
So we have herbs which work as brain tonics.
Okay.
So if we translate it into medical terminology, they are very good nootropic agents and
Right, okay.
elevate the mood, and they increase the IQ of the children
Right.
and even the older people. They are good memory boosters.
Okay.
So I would name few of them, and
Sure.
one of them is Brahmi,
Okay.
world famous herbs nowadays. The other one is Shankhapushpi.
Okay.
We use it as well for treating in depression patients.
Okay.
The third one, my favorite, is Guduchi,
Okay.
and we also call it Giloe.
Okay.
Apart from its help in psychiatric issues, it also works as an immunomodulator, nowadays
Okay.
used as anti-cancer herb
Wow. Okay.
everywhere as well.
Right.
Very good hemogenic, very good for liver.
Okay.
So many good aspects about it.
Fantastic.
Plus, we have other herbs like Madhuyash tea. We call it licorice.
Okay.
And we drink tea of licorice.
Right.
And we have some gummies of licorice in these countries.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's also very good for the mind.
Okay.
So these are few. And then later we have higher set of herbs which promote sleep with
Okay.
patients with sleep issues.
Right.
And they really are very, very
Okay.
helpful.
Now that we're talking about herbs, maybe you can explain to the viewers. When we go to a doctor here, okay, you're getting X amount of milligrams of this. Maybe you can explain how you would come to a conclusion of how much herbs one person or dosage that person would be taking. Sure.
Yeah, it depends on the body weight and the extent of the illness.
Okay.
And also the right combination of the herbs we make.
Right.
And of course, the children need less dose. People who have a very long history of illness, they need higher dose.
Higher dose, right.
So that depends.
Okay.
Most of the time, if it is a powder, usually in general 3 to 6 grams per day is recommended.
Okay.
If it's a decoction, 20 to 30 ml of decoction. Decoction means we cook the herbs in water and we let it evaporate, and 1/4 is left, and we drink it empty stomach.
Right.
And nowadays we are making extract-based tablets through the advent of technology these days in pharmaceutical companies, and they are making good products with extract-based tablets which have less dosage, so easy to swallow and palatable.
Okay,
yes.
exactly. Perfect. So, Dr. Gayatri, what treatment modalities do you normally recommend for anyone with mental health issues?
Well, apart from herbs and diet and counseling, there's a very beautiful and very scientific treatment. We call it Shirodhara.
Okay.
And that's also known as third eye treatment, very popular in the West nowadays. And that works through, there's a warm stream of oil, which is continuously being poured over your forehead here. Right. You're lying on the massage table after the head massage, and then that continuous stream of oil actually works here and makes you go to a passive state of meditation, which mimics like sleep, but it's not actually sleep. Right. So the person relaxes and calms down, and it has been proved through scientific journals and papers that it actually brings the harmony of the neurotransmitters. Wow. Okay. So whatever is the psychiatric issue, it works in all. So Shirodhara is something which I strongly recommend for all the patients who are suffering from mental illness.
So I know we're kind of coming up to the end of our time, but I didn't want to end the segment without maybe asking you how you can see Ayurveda fitting in with Eastern medicine, or just our method of medicine in general, and maybe you can point out some of the differences, maybe something that's happening back in India versus in Canada, where Ayurveda is not really used as part of that holistic
That's
health
a wonderful question. Well, I know Ayurveda is not yet regulated in this country. Right. But if you come to know the immense potential it is having, you would love that. It should be incorporated in the mainstream. Right. So I'm not against any other system. I respect they have their own USPs, and Ayurveda has its own. Right. So back home in India, we were having the medical colleges like Banaras Hindu University, AIIMS, and so many other. Right. There's a separate ministry of Ayush which has opened units of Ayurveda clinics within allopathic hospitals.
Wow, okay.
So which is, they are working in coordination, in integration, which is the demand of the time.
Exactly.
So the doctors who think that this area is not much for us, so they used to refer to the Ayurveda people, where the patients are taken care by not only us, but even Panchakarma and detox therapies. Even the allopathic doctors used to be our clients for their detoxification and rejuvenation. Because Panchakarma talks about it. So getting more younger and getting the toxins cleaned up through different routes. It's a complete scientific biopurification methodology. And it has been tested. So 5,000 years it has been time tested. It works. It works for all. So no matter what community, what color, caste, creed, country, it works for the mankind, even for animals.
Yeah, definitely. So as we start to wrap up, maybe you can share just when someone who may never have been exposed to Ayurveda and they come to you for the first time, what can they expect? So if I'm coming to you for my first visit, first time I'm coming to you, what can I expect? What's the process?
Okay, so the typical Ayurveda consultation includes interaction and a set of questionnaire about your history, medical history, personal history, about what your thought process is, examining your pulse, which we call as Nadi Pariksha, which should ideally be done empty stomach or with not much of food intake by the patient before. examining the tongue, the nails, and sometimes abdominal examination as well.
Okay.
These days, the Ayurveda doctors, which are being produced in the medical colleges, they are trained in the modern tools of examination as well. So examination is a tool. So we combine both. We can read the reports as well. We know about the modern medicines as well, the side effects, and then we know which field is to be disturbed and which field should not be touched.
Definitely.
So that's how it makes it more holistic and more complete in itself.
Definitely. It's it just reminds me of how in my own health journey, being able to visit alternative health practitioners and being able to take the actual blood work scientifically, all the numbers, and then watching the numbers go up or down based on where they're supposed to be, right?
Yes.
So I think that's one of the advantages we have in being here in Canada, is that especially if someone already has some kind of symptom or ailments, they're already getting blood work. So we have that advantage of being able to take that blood work from a regular doctor and going and see someone such as yourself.
Yes. So this is what is integration meant for.
Right, right.
So of course, the Ayurveda person or the practitioner should have the background knowledge of that as well.
Right.
Then only he or she can practically infuse both of the elements together and see for the correct decision.
Perfect.
Okay, so I hope Ayurveda is the future, and it is going to be the, the key for success for the health of all.
Perfect. So as we wrap up, Dr. Gayatri, maybe you can just share, just let the viewers know how they can get a hold of you.
Well, as I said, today the topic was mental health. I would say again the same logo, same lines, and they are eat healthy, think healthy, meet healthy, and meet sattvic people. So be in the company of positive people, absorb the positive vibes from other. Absorb the healthy food from the table. Be mindful of what you're eating. And think positive. Whatever happens, you have the power to heal yourself. And you just need to be guided in the right way.
Fantastic. So you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for tuning in for this week's episode for Peel Healthy Lifestyle Show. I want to thank Dr. Gayatri for visiting us in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to Dr. Gayatri directly. Her information will be posted below. And for this, I want to say thank you for joining us again. Yadevinder signing off, and we'll see you at the Peel Healthy Lifestyle Show on June 1st at Turner Fenton. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.